We're talking every single day. 18 veterans die by suicide.
Routine is more important than anything else once you get out of the military.
I got a certificate from the military and I can't get a job.
Hello, welcome back to Still Standing, Untold Stories of Veterans' Faith. Today, we're stepping into a new season. The seasons change. October brings a whole different type of weather. You have allergies going on, pollen is flying everywhere, you have more wind, leaves falling, and you notice that the days are getting a little shorter. It's getting darker a little sooner. So pretty soon we're going to have the daylight savings time, and that's going to just throw everybody off. I don't know about y'all, but it throws me completely off. So anyway, the season changing is just it's a reminder that life moves through different seasons, both light and dark. And just like moving through different seasons, our lives move through different seasons. So this episode is called Still Standing Through the Seasons, Coping with Darkness and Finding Light. It's okay to be in darkness as long as you're looking for that light, as long as you can find that light and you know that you can find that light. We're going to talk about why this time of year can feel especially heavy for veterans, active duty members, and even their families. And most importantly, how we can stand together in the dark and find hope in the light ahead together. So whether you're a veteran, a loved one, or someone talking alongside in our community, this is for you. Everybody, this can fit everybody. You're not alone. And today we're going to share stories, insights, and practical ways to navigate this shadow of the season. I am Christina Augustine, and I will act as your host today. So y'all get to hear me talk for a long time. And today I have with me Mr. Robert Augustine. And then also I have a special appearance by Mr. Gary Lewis. First, I'm going to have Mr. Robert Augustine tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
Hey, good day. I'm Robert Augustine, as she just said. I'm a peer support specialist over at the Hope Center with the intention of helping veterans, whether it be homelessness, suicide attempts, just trying to find their way. We offer medical help. We suggest counseling and anything basically we could do that's within means. Personally, I'm a prior Army vet and Navy. I've been to two boot camps, and I know you veterans know what I'm talking about. No, I'm not crazy. I just came home from the Army and decided I still wanted to do something, and I thought the military was the best way, best skills. So I joined the Navy, made two med cruises, Mediterranean. I got to see France, Italy, Spain, and a few other places right now. Just it's been so many years ago. So what we talking 50 years ago for me? So within them 50 years, I've been through something as a vet, trying to get help and whatnot, and just had to turn, not for everybody, but I turned to God, Jesus, and asked Him to direct me with His Holy Spirit. And it's a struggle. When you turn to God, nobody say your life going to get straight perfect the next day. But if you believe and ask for His guidance, you start finding ways, doors start opening that no man can shut. And you trying to figure out how you got there. So I can understand some veterans. I'm not telling everybody to turn to God. If that's not what you do, then that's it. But if you tried everything else, why not? I've got a second chance at life. I'm trying to make the best of it. And so with God giving me a second chance, there's a purpose He has me here. And maybe this is my purpose to reach somebody out there that needs some help that I can offer somebody in the office, somebody in the city, somebody in the country. We all need help, you know.
Mr. Lewis, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Gary Lewis. I'm an outreach specialist for Hope Incorporated. I've been working here for going on 4 years. Love my job. So we're here to help.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us. As the days grow a little shorter, many of us feel the weight of the season. October starts the holiday season. And from here on out, seems like everybody around you is just happy and smiling and they just so joyous and they just enjoying life. And happy and you're like, what you so happy for? Trust me, I have been there. But I know for veterans especially, that heaviness also, it can often come with some added risk. So let's look at a little bit of data. What the data tells us now is that changing seasons can affect mental health, especially for veterans. In 2022, over 6,000 veterans died by suicide. 6,000. That's a lot of people. I believe it was something like 6,032. And this is just the veterans. This is just the veterans. This is not including active duty military people. This is not including any active duty families. This is just veterans. 6,000 veterans. That comes up to something like 18 people a day. 18 people a day. Now we sit and watch the news, and when we hear, oh, 5 people were shot this weekend, we're like, oh, that's so horrible. Well, just think that's over a 3-day period, a weekend. We're talking every single day. 18 veterans die by suicide. That's those numbers, they have to come down. That's just crazy. So that's what we're here for. We're here to try to help those numbers come down and try to teach you how to help those numbers come down. Veterans are twice as likely to die by suicide than non veterans. And it's even higher for younger veterans and women who served. Women have a hard time in the military sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, but sometimes. And we know that being in the military is all about the mind. It's all about the mindset. So the mindset tells you you have to be strong, you have to do this and you have to do that. And as a woman, because we are compared to men, we're always trying to outdo the men and do better and be better. So it can really weigh on a person. So as we move into the fall, those risks feel even heavier because the days get shorter and you have less sunlight, and that can trigger what's known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, SAD, SAD. So SAD makes depression, fatigue, and hopelessness even worse. For veterans already living with PTSD, brain injuries, or chronic stress, the darker months can intensify the symptoms and disrupt sleep. We already have problems sleeping, and increase isolation. And increased isolation is never, ever good. In the last episode, we spoke about how PTSD starts when you're in the military serving, not after you get out. So the changing seasons, especially the holiday season, is really hard. And dealing with PTSD, you're already, just when you figured out how to deal with your PTSD and how to cope and how to recognize your triggers and all of that, and you feel like you're in somewhat of recovery, then the season changes. This season doesn't just change the weather, it can change how we feel and think. Like I said, walking around, you'll see more people smiling, more people happy, more people shopping, spending money, and the music changes, the atmosphere changes, so everything changes. The darkness of the season does not define the future. That brings us to the heart of today's discussion, is what can we do when the days get darker? So let's talk about strategies, support systems, faith practices that can help us not just survive the season, but stand strong through it. And that's what we're about, helping somebody stand strong through those dark seasons. So, Rob, I do call him Rob, so forgive me. Rob, let's start with your perspective and some of your personal experience with the impact of changing seasons on mental health?
Well, like you say, it's a change in season, and if you compare and look at it, coming from military to civilian life is like changing the season. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It's like I've read some statistics where Florida, being the most 12th expensive state in the country, uh, a guy has to have a job making at least $25 an hour to pay for a two-bedroom apartment. So if he's got
mm,
any family, anything, but he has to make that kind of money. California, you have to make like $40 an hour. So coming
wow.
out, a lot of the skills and stuff that you get uh, a credit or recommendations or certificates for in the military are not accepted out here in civilian life. And look,
Mm,
watch how simple it can be. I was supposed to be an aviation electronic technician in the Navy. Well, I couldn't swim. Okay, so they got a thing that they call you a rock, where every day you go to the pool until you learn to swim. That's only a month. You don't make it learn to swim within that month, they kick you out. All right, so that meant I missed my school. I couldn't be an aviation electronic technician. So I had an option to either get out or change my MOS. So I decided what was open. So I look at a few things and they say ship serviceman. I look at another thing and I'm like, wait, they got a barber. He's like, yeah, you're going to be aboard the USS Saratoga's aircraft carrier. They need barbers. Well, I want to be a barber. So they sent me to Norfolk, Virginia, for cosmetology school for 1 week. 1 week, working on dummies and wigs and all this here. And they brought me finally to the Saratoga. I get there, I'm staying starch and everything. I ain't got to do all this work they doing and carrying on. I'm gonna give me a little calm child because I'm gonna cut the cook's hair. When I want a sandwich, when it's not time to eat, I can get a sandwich. I'm gonna cut the guy who's doing the finances here because I can get my check before everybody else. So it was a good thing, it was a trade thing. And I cut hair for almost 2 years. I came home with the same certificate I got from Norfolk and showed the barber who was in my neighborhood, hey, Mr. K used to cut my hair when I was a little kid. Look, man, I got this from the neighbor. I can cut hair. He said, oh, I can't accept that, but ain't no proof that you come. I'm not going to let you, experiment, cut people hair in my shop and whatnot. I'm saying, but this saying I'm certified to be a cosmetologist. Nah, not here. You know,
mm,
went tried it up some people I didn't know uptown. I'm like, hey, look, trying to get a job as a barber. Guy like, man, look, I would let you come on, bro, but you got nobody to tell me how good you is or whatnot. I can't let you take my next customer cut his hair to see how you do and you mess up. I done lost a customer. So I'm walking out and I'm like, man, I cut hair for 2 years. I got a certificate from the military and I can't get a job.
mhm,
Now I got to find something else to do. So I totally understand what it's like in a transition from military life to civilian life. You could
mhm.
go to school there, you can learn some things and you can be very helpful in the military for whatever you go to school for. You know? Uh it's like that transition and you change that season to when you get out. That doesn't necessarily mean I could pick up from where I left off in there. Some
Right.
jobs you possibly can, you know.
Why do you think seasonal changes can feel heavier for veterans versus civilians? I'm trying to understand myself, what's the difference?
Well, it's said in civilian life, you go to kindergarten, grade school, junior high, high school, college. Okay. And for the
Hmm.
most of that, you've got your parents there providing, taking care of you. Then when you say you're an adult and you complete college, you got people go to college thinking they're gonna get a job in their home state when they get out. And guess what? It's like an architect right now in New Orleans. You went to college for that, you come here. I'm being told personally by a couple of people I know, there's no jobs in New Orleans. You got to go out of state for something. Maybe you don't want to go out of state. Now you got to change your job. Okay, then you turn around the military. You done been to hopefully grade school, high school. Now you go into the military. Military paying for your meals. They putting shelter on you. You're hot when it's cold. You're cold when it's hot. You're traveling. You're seeing a little bit of the world. Now it's out. Now it's time to go home and show everybody what you've learned and what you've done. And everybody's gonna be proud of you. Yeah, for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Now it's back to the same person who went to college. You just as equal as the person in the military, and now you got to find a job. May or may not fit what you've been trained to do.
That's really powerful because when you put it that way, in civilian life, they've had their parents and family support, but in the military, you're already past, most of us are already past that age,
Hmm.
and you have someone taking care of your every single need. You don't have to
Hmm.
worry about anything. And then when you get out of the military, I remember the first time I couldn't pay my light bill. It was such a big deal for me. It was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then a friend of mine told me, just call and ask for an extension. And I was like, what? You can do that? It's a lot that you don't know, because I went into the army right out of high school. I never had to pay a light bill. I never had to pay a
Hmm.
water bill
Hmm.
or rent or anything like that. So that's a really, really great point
Yeah.
that you make.
Yeah, and look, just to let people out there know, this is no joke. I'm putting myself out there. I got out of the Navy in '77, and I remember. I want to be honest. I want to be clear that I'm the same guy here as you all out there are looking at me. It had to be the early '80s, mid '80s. I remember sitting in the bathroom with a loaded 332, trying to make up my mind: was I going to walk out this door or be carried out of it? And I sit there 5, 10 minutes. You know, my girlfriend at the time beating on the door. I'm sitting there with tears in my eyes. I was tired of the struggle. Didn't know which way to go. And I made the choice to just open the door and just accept what was going on and try to get some work or whatnot. And I went back to school. I learned to be a welder. I traveled welding for over 30 years. The industry is good to me. But just imagine if I had made the wrong choice that night and pulled
Hmm.
that trigger. I'm 68 years old now. I'm good. You know this. I'm good. I'm not. I'm gonna still say I'm not where I should be, but I know I'm better than what I was. I'm good. I'm good. I'm married happily. I'm content. Now a lot of times contentment is just all you need because it's like I say again. I'm always referred to the Lord. His grace is sufficient. And if you
Hmm.
just sit back and get out of His way, trust me, you'll be all right. So for people out there, don't think, oh, they're sitting there reading these papers and they telling us this and that. No, this is real. This is real. I could have been a part of the statistics that she's telling you about. But
Hmm.
better than that, I'm considering myself a success story. This band I wear says I'm successful. I ain't got a mansion. I ain't got a Bentley outside or none of that. You know, but I'm good. I'm happy. I'm contented. That's all we need in life. So don't give up because you can't have the job you had in the military. You can't do what you thought was equal to being successful. Now you got to go beneath that. Don't put yourself down. You know, look, there's something out there you can do if you want to do something. Quite some years now, I just sit back and try to figure out what's my next step. What I'm gonna do now? Who do I need to talk to that's gonna give me another positive direction? Or should I just go lay down, close my eyes, and pray and let the Lord answer me?
Something that you forgot to mention is when you spend time with your mistress. For those of you
Yeah.
watching, his mistress is a Honda VTX 1300.
Well, yeah. Well, well, I was trying to, give you the benefit of doubt there. You know, I wasn't going to bring that up because, a lot of people may think if I got a Honda VTX 1300, oh, he's doing good. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I
No.
bought it used. It's an '08. This is 2025, okay? So I'm good and I'm happy to ride. It's what I enjoy. Like I said, I've got a second chance at life. I just beat up pancreatic cancer back in March. I had the surgery, 7.5 hour surgery. I was out of work for a little over 2 months. And then I had a
Mm.
GI aneurysm 2 weeks after the surgery, which I bled to death. They had to pump blood into me. So for some reason, God's got me here, and I can't help but believe that that reason is to catch somebody, touch somebody. and
Hmm.
stop them from either committing suicide or just giving up on life or leaving their family or whatnot. And hang in there, hang in there, live for tomorrow.
But that brings up connection, talking
Yeah,
about connecting with people.
right.
We go through the seasons, and you have, somebody told me one time, when you're going through hell, just keep going. If you don't keep going, you're never going to get out of it. If you stop, you're going to live in that hell. So I want to make your chest stick out a little bit in pride when I quote you. My husband always tells me, um, don't ever make a permanent decision for a temporary situation.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Gary to come on, and from a clinical point.
Okay, my name is Gary Lewis. I am a outreach case manager for Hope Center Incorporated. What I'm thinking of that's connected, it's not, hasn't been said, it's called a Acadian rhythm. Anybody familiar with that? That is a rhythm that your body is accustomed to. It regulates how you feel, your mood, your speed, and everything else. It is called, it's for 24 hours, so number one, and it controls your sleep, wokeness, your hormones, production, and other physical attributes. But saying that to say this, all of this is really connected. The power of routine, the power of a routine is more important than anything else once you get out of the military. What you need to do is familiarize yourself with people like or people that can help. You have to have a routine. If it's no more than waking up and doing the same thing every day, that's a routine. Exercising, that's also a routine. You get outside for sunlight, you need that. The isolation, it calls for misery, love, company. That's why you get outside. You go within, go without your scope. One of the first things veterans should do once they get out is to connect with the veterans to see if there are any. For instance, the Veterans Center. It helps with rehabilitation, PTSD, alcoholism, you can find that in your neighborhood. Cancer detoxing, that's what it does. Another aspect of this would be for veterans, would be the American Veterans Center, advocacy for veterans benefits, community outreach, unemployment. A lot of people you don't know that is there because you don't ask. Again, you're used to doing things on your own. But what you need to realize, what you should, I'm sorry, I use that word loosely. What you should realize is that there's help. When Christina says she panicked about her rent, uh, first time doing it, that's what the whole purpose of making a connection with other people. Other people say, "Oh, you can get this from there. You can get an extension. You can do this. You can do that." But if you isolate yourself and leave it within the thoughts that you have, you're not going to go down a productive ladder, a productive situation. I consider social media, Facebook. You connect with those like people. You connect with people who are motivated. Everybody may not be motivated, but it's up to you to make the decision to see how far you're going. If you meet someone who's always about oh this, oh that, no, 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 you don't need that. You just got out of the situation that you are trying to adjust to our not our but adjust to what regular people are considered the ultimate. So to be put down and not be considered for health benefits, anything. For instance, you can go ahead and get a GI Bill to go back to school. You can from a GI Bill, you can veterans organizations. The one that came into my mind, I didn't think about it, it was all over. The Veterans of Foreign War. Then you have the DAV, Disabled Veterans, American Veterans. And then you have one that stands so clear to me, I forgot about it. It's called the American Legion. All these are connections to people. Isolation in itself is not a good thing. Although you've been trained to do one thing and you understand one thing, having to ask for help is not a bad thing, because believe it or not, there are more people out there than you think that are in the same situation. Um, your connection with your family, connection with your friends. Uh, if you're like Mr. Roberts, if you're into religion, everybody's not into religion, but if that's what it takes, yeah, you need to have a connection. You need to be able to see one day at a time and keep going. That we are here, and SSG Fox would be considered an anchor to what you may need, may want to know, or how to get things done. We are SSG Fox.
Hey, let me
Thank
add,
you.
just stand down. Also, for veterans out there that's having a little difficulty, they give medical help. This is all one day. It's usually a Saturday, and it's all about a block, maybe 2 blocks long. They give clothes, they give food, they give medical advice, they give housing advice, they even give underwear, they give socks. And a lot of stuff is new. They give you boots, the same boots you wore in the military, but they're brand new. This is nothing you have to pay for. This is nothing you have to do something for, other than say you were a veteran. They will give you some. You can look. They give you a duffel bag, man. You leave out there with this duffel bag on your shoulder full. It's all free, and you'll be surprised. People at the end of the day, they're still bringing stuff back to their warehouse when all of it should be gone. But a lot of veterans don't know anything about it. A lot of them don't want to be a burden. A lot of them not going to leave from under the bridge because now I don't want to be bothered with that, man. They going to want me to do something, man. Paperwork. No. You ain't got to do none of that. Just show up and say you were a veteran. You serve your country.
But see, they don't know that either. So the outreach is very important, and to gather this information that we have on our clients, to at least email them to let them know, because you can always go by the phone number and leave a message. So it's word of mouth, and that's all. That's almost the best advertisements you can give to a program like this, which is SSG Fox.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gary, and thank you so much, Mr. Robert, for joining me today and
My pleasure.
giving us your sharing your wisdom with us. So I just want to say that here at the Hope Center, we do work with the SSG Fox program and suicide prevention program. And we've talked about it on a previous episode. I think it was our very first episode. We talked about how we got here to this podcast. And um, one of the biggest things that we talked about routine, we talked about connection, and here at the Hope Center, we connect with our veterans with different outings. And we do that because we want to keep those that might be otherwise isolated out of isolation and mingling with other veterans and other people. So far, we've gone to the motorsport um, place. I missed that one, and I was so heartbroken that I missed that one. We've gone bowling. We went to the World War II Museum. We have done so many different things with our veterans, and we choose different veterans every time. So it's um, and we connect with them on a different level, and that's what veterans feel comfortable with. When you really connect with them, they feel they can trust you a little more, and I'm speaking as a veteran. They don't see us just as case managers and peer support specialists and or whatever titles we have. They see that we're people and we're actually talking to them and laughing with them and joking with them and sharing our day with them. Just sharing my time. My time is very valuable, extremely valuable. So sharing my time with somebody, that means a lot. And people really take to that. So you one thing you want to do if you're in that darkness, find that light. Anytime I hear somebody say that, I think of the movie Poltergeist, I think it was, where she said, Carol Ann, move to the light. Go to the light, Carol Ann, go to the light. Anyway, that's always ringing in my head when I think about it. But we want you to go to the light. Go to the light. The light is hope. And fall is a change that we all go through, but you can learn from it. Fall teaches us something profound. The trees let go of the leaves. They don't let go of the leaves as an end to their life. They let go of their leaves in order to grow new ones in the next season. So it's kind of like life. You have to let go of some of those bad thoughts, some of those bad feelings in order to move forward and prepare yourself for something good. If you're constantly telling yourself that something is it's all bad, it's all bad, it's all bad, then that's all that's going to come to you. But if you tell yourself, I know something good has got to come, something good has got to come, then something good is going to come.
Tomorrow.
Um, so we know that seasons of darkness are not forever. And just as I said before, there's always light after darkness. Darkness and light cannot reside in the same place at the same time. So
Beautiful.
darkness is not forever. There's going to be light after the darkness. And if you're in a dark season right now, I want you to hear this. Hear this clearly. The light still exists. That light is hope, and hope still exists. Um, you don't have to face it alone. Reach out. Let somebody know that you need company. You reach out to a friend, a fellow veteran, a family member, a pastor, a counselor. As we mentioned earlier, support groups. There are so many different people that you could reach out to. And support groups are really interesting because you not only share your story, but you sit there and listen to other people's stories and you realize how similar everything is, how similar their story is to yours. And sometimes you'll hear someone's story and realize that, oh, my story ain't that bad. Listening to that one, it makes you feel a little better. So, not to say that it's a good thing that you feel better than, it's just the way it is. You realize that you could be worse off, and you get to appreciate where you are compared to where that other person is. So you don't have to be alone. And if you're a veteran or a family member of a veteran that's struggling with suicidal thoughts, please, please, please reach out. Call the Veterans Crisis Hotline, and that is just three little numbers. You don't have to call that 1-800 number. You don't have to memorize it or look for it in your contacts or anything. You can just dial 988, option 1 for veterans. When you press option 1, the reason you press an option 1 is because everyone on option 1 is a veteran. So you're going to be speaking to other veterans who will understand where you are, what you're going through, how you're feeling, why you're feeling that way. You can also connect with different organizations like the VA. I know a lot of people don't want to have anything to do with the VA. Well, you don't have to go there for just healthcare. The VA has a lot of other things going on. Just like Mr. Lewis said, we have the stand down. The stand down is hosted by the VA. The Veterans Stand Down is on October 25th of 2025. It is a Saturday. Get there early in the morning because a lot of people show up. And the stand down is designed to connect you with other resources. They don't just give away free things. They do give away a lot of things. You get a lot of free things. They feed you for free. However, they also connect you. You have an opportunity to connect with other resources that you may not know is out there, because different organizations come and set up tables and tell you what they're all about. Who knows? You may make a new friend. Um, you can also connect with local peer support groups, programs, or groups, and groups like the National Veterans Homeless Support, NVHS. NVHS is working every day to bring it light into dark places. They work very, very hard. They have a whole website. You can look them up. The National Veterans Homeless Support Group. If you Google NVHS. You should find their website. And here's one simple step for you. For everybody watching today, there's one simple step that you can take. Check in on a veteran this week. Send that text, make that call, sit down for coffee, sandwiches, or something. Sometimes knowing someone cares is enough to carry us through to the next day. Just knowing that somebody cares. We've covered a lot today, but one thing, the three things that we want you to take away from here from today's discussion: routine, make a plan. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just make a small plan, baby steps. Plan your day for tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up at this time. I'm gonna go for a 15-minute walk. Get outside, get some sunlight. And I can tell you a true story. After Hurricane Katrina, I was in Georgia, and I was staying with my ex-husband and his wife and their children. Different story. It's all good. I was in my room and I was glued to the TV. I had the TV on 24 hours a day watching the news. And I didn't realize that I had gotten into such a dark place. After about 2 weeks, my ex-husband came to me and he said, "You have to get out of this room." And I looked at him because I thought they were putting me out. I looked at him and I was like, "Why? What did I do?" He said, "Christina, you have to get out this room. You have been in this room for 2 solid weeks and you just watching the news. Turn the TV off and get out of this room." And I didn't even realize I had not moved in 2 weeks. I went outside. He told me, "Go sit on the porch, get some sunlight." I went outside with my kids. I sat on the porch and I started feeling a little better. And I stopped thinking about the city and what the city was looking like and the things that we lost. And I started taking pictures of my kids. And to this day, when I look back on those pictures that I took of my babies, because they were babies then, I look back at that picture and it still makes me smile because I remember how just sitting outside on the porch and taking that picture made me feel better. So the power of routine, make a plan, follow your plan. Have a routine every day. That way you know that you will not stay in isolation. Connect with somebody, whoever it is. Go next door and say, "Hey, how you doing? I've been living next to you for the past 10 years and I realized I don't even know your name. I'm Christina. How are you?" Now, if they slam their door in your face, just move on to the next neighbor. Don't get mad. Everybody's not like that. But just move on to the next neighbor. The next neighbor might say, "Well, hello. I've been waiting to meet you." You never know. So always remember always that darkness never cancels out light, and they cannot be in the same place at the same time. Seasons change, and so will yours. And until next time, I want you to keep standing, keep hoping, and keep walking toward the light. Be Carol Ann. Move toward that light, because when she went towards the light, that's when she got out of that TV. Move toward the light and keep hope in your heart. And that's all we have today. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. And if you like our episodes, please subscribe. Even if you don't like our episodes, subscribe anyway. Just hit the like button. Matter of fact, love us. Love us and subscribe. Keep living for tomorrow. You have a wonderful day.